You can call yourself Israel or a Hebrew. You can read and study the Torah and say you're part of the covenant and still not get it. Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, day number 5 of the Torah portion, Tavo. It's a bit of a sombering word today in Deuteronomy, chapter number 29. Verse 1 and following says, "These are the words of the covenant which Yahweh commanded Moshe to make with the children of Israel in the land of Moab, besides the covenant which he made with them in Horeb." So this is an elaboration beyond what was received at Mount Sinai. This is an intensifying word that he's given just before he passes. Moshe called all Israel and said to them, "You yourselves saw all that Yahweh did before your eyes in the land of Mitzrayim to Pharaoh, to all of his servants, and to all of his land. Your eyes saw the great trials, the signs, and those great wonders." And then verse 4 says, "But Yahweh has not given you a heart to know, and eyes to see, and ears to hear to this day." It would seem from that last line, "until this day," that there is now a shift that is taking place. Their eyes are going to be open and they will be able to see. Their ears are going to be open and they are going to be able to hear. And their hearts are going to be able to perceive, understand, and put it all together. I kind of wonder if that's not where the Hebraic roots community might be at this moment. We are seeing things, we are hearing things, we are finding information, we are excited by the insights that we find and the intricacies of the Hebrew letters and alphabet and how it works in the words and all of those invigorating things when we do Torah study. We're finding out things that perhaps rabbinical minds have known for a few thousand years and saying, so what else do you know? But the heart is the key. It's not what you read and study, and it's not necessarily just the teachers and preachers and prophets that you're listening to that give understanding and some insight to what you're reading, but it's this heart thing where the word gets a lodging place inwardly to the place that we own it, that it becomes a part of the fibers of our being. It gets locked down inside of us. And it's not to be hidden there to where it has no effect. But we began to perceive the heart of the Torah. What is the heart of the Torah? It is the intentions, the purposes, the yearnings and desires of our Creator. It's what He wants. Finding out not only that He said these things to Israel through Moshe, but why? And what is the effect that He was hoping to draw out of the people who were listening? Not just that they would be obedient, hear and obey these words of the commands which I am giving to you this day. We hear that kind of phrase over and over again. But why? Yah is looking for a people who will be perceptive of His heart, His love, His compassion for us, but also His yearning that we be set apart before Him to the place that we can draw nearer to Him and cleave to Him. Those that have tried what is called a long-distance romance, years ago, it was, back and forth with letters predominantly, and occasionally a long distance, a very expensive means of communication, but a long distance phone call. When my dad went to Korea, not long after he and my mom were married, just a few months after they were married, he would write letters They would correspond via the mail system. And I've not seen them, don't want to see them necessarily, but I understand that there's tucked away somewhere perhaps some letters that Mom still has. I remember as a kid the stack of envelopes with the red and blue borders on it that used to be for airmail, U.S. airmail. And I realized that while tucked away in a foreign country under difficult circumstances, the love and the emotion was not depleted. We've been away from our Messiah for a long time, physically. And it would seem that we are a people that Yah loves desperately, and yet we seem estranged and distant from Him. When we read in the book of Ezekiel, chapter number 12, he says to Ezekiel, Yah says, I want you to act out a play before them. I want you to pack your bags like you're leaving town. And I want you to go out in front of them with your baggage. And I want you to go to the wall. And I want you to dig into the wall and create a hole in the wall. And then I want you to lead those people with you outside that wall as if you're leaving and going into exile, carrying your baggage on your shoulders. And when they ask you, what does this mean? You can tell them, this is what's going to happen to you. You're going to carry your baggage and you're leaving town and you're going into exile. In Isaiah chapter 29, verse 1 says, woe to Ariel, the city where David dwelt. Well, that would be Jerusalem. And Yah begins to tell her how that there's going to be a siege and that they're going to be taken captive. In verse 10 and following, it says, for Yahweh has poured out on you a spirit of deep sleep and has closed your eyes, which are the prophets, and He has covered your heads, the seers. And the entire vision is to you like the words of a book that is sealed, which men give to those who know books, saying, read this, please. And he said, I am unable, for it is sealed. And the book is given to those who do not know books, saying, read this, please. And he says, I have not known books. And verse 13, he says, because this people has drawn near with its mouth, and with its lips they have esteemed me, and it has kept their heart far from me, and their fear of me has become a command of men that is taught. This is the same words that we find over in the book of Matthew. In chapter number 15, Yeshua is rebuking the religious leaders when they are asking Him, why do your disciples transgress the teachings and traditions of the elders and not wash their hands when they eat bread? And it wasn't about getting dirt off. It was a ceremonial washing. Yeshua says that in verse 7 and 8 and 9, hypocrites, Yeshayahu rightly prophesied about you, saying, this people draw near to me with their mouth and respect me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. But in vain they do worship me, teaching as teaches the commands of men. Following man's commands please men. Following the commands of Yah will please Yah. But the two do indeed get mixed up. Yah again said to Isaiah in chapter 6, He said, go and you shall say to this people, hearing you hear, but do not understand, and seeing you see, but do not know. Make the heart of this people fat and their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes, hear with their ears, understand with their heart, and shall turn and be healed. In other words, reserving them to a time of a punishment. But here he says there is a time where He will open our eyes, our ears, and open our heart. If we will turn to Him with all of our heart, then He will open our heart to receive His heart. Shabbat Shalom, and I mean that with all my being. Shabbat Shalom to you. May you find Shalom, a sense of wholeness, well-being, and completeness in your home and with anyone that you may gather with. May the Spirit of the living Yah fill you, enliven you, and reveal His heart to you. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your support. And thank you for watching 10 Minute Torah. Shabbat Shalom. We'll see you again next week.